In this video, I'm going to use a function called GeoRegionValuePlot to draw a map of China where the different provinces in China are colored according to their population. So let me start by getting a list of the provinces in China. So I'm going to set the variable prov equal to, and then I'm going to use control equals to get a free-form input box. Then I'm going to say provinces in China. Then I'm going to evaluate. Okay, here is a list of provinces in China, and let me show you how GeoRegionValuePlot works. So here's the type of input it takes. So it wants to take as input a list, or it could be an association, where each entry in the list looks like region, arrow, value. So let me make one of those lists as a preliminary step. So let me say my rules, because this is going to be a list of rules, equals table. And let's use the second type of iterator, and let's have A run through all of these different provinces. And then what do I want in my list? Well, I want province, arrow, number. Okay, let's just say all of them map to 2. So that is the type of input that GeoRegionValuePlot wants. And here it all looks the same color because I did not specify any different numbers. But if I were to do random integer, say from 0 to 5, okay, and then I were to evaluate it again, then I get these different gradations of colors. And one thing I don't like about this method where it's region to number is let me make it a bigger range of random integers. So here there are lots of different values. There's probably only 1 or 2 repetitions. And let me evaluate this again. And notice how there isn't much gradual change in these colors. It's kind of drastic. Goes from this color to this color. And I think that's a bug in this GeoRegionValuePlot. And I have a way I like for getting around that bug, which is by, instead of saying a number here, say a specific color. So let me remind you how colors work in Mathematica, or one of the ways colors work. I can choose a different gradient on the color schemes page. Okay, and I'm going to choose this rainbow gradient. And I can say, for example, my color equals, and let's say the input is X. And that's going to be color data. And then that gradient that I chose, rainbow, brackets X. And it's good to be in the habit of clearing function names beforehand. So let me do that. And so now, rather than specifying numbers, okay, I could specify colors. So let me do, for example, my color of this. So these are almost all the same color. There's only one exception. And do you see what the problem is with this? Well, remember that color data, these color data functions for gradients, they only care about inputs from 0 to 1, and then everything from 1 and beyond gets the same color. So I bet whatever the input here for Shanghai was, I bet that input was 0, and that's why it's getting another color here. Let me check that. My color is 0. So that looks pretty similar to this color here. So one way I could get around this is I could rescale, but these are just random integers anyway, so one way I could get around it would be with random colors, let's do random real, 0 to 1. So that looks pretty good, but there's no meaning behind this, it's just random. So what if I wanted to have more meaningful colors? Well, here's what I want to do for the rest of the video, which is use for my color choice, I want to scale it based on what the population is of the region. So we can get that, for example, let me get it for the Beijing region. So let me paste that in, and then let me do brackets population. So that's 21 million people. And in general for these, let's see, I called this province. So I could do, let's call this pops for population equals table A brackets population. And that's going to be for every A in the province list. And let's see what the maximum value is of that. So 104 million people. And so let's divide all of these populations by this maximum. So here's one way to do it. Let me call it, how about scaled, equals table B divided by max pops for every B in pops. So B is going to first be this, 59 million, then this, 21 million, and so on. And then the things that are getting put into this scaled list is that number divided by the maximum. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now we just need to convert these into colors. So one way to do that is I could apply the myColor function in here. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now we can use the association thread function. Remember, that works where I have a list of keys and a list of values. I can input those here to get a list of rules, or an association, I should say, of rules. So what do I want for my keys? I want these province names, and I already have that list in this prov. So there's my list of regions, and scaled is my list of colors. And notice that this gave me an association. Okay, here we can see the association symbol on the outside. And let me name this assoc. Okay, and now let's do GeoRegionValuePlot of assoc. So there we go. These should be colored with the more like purple colors for lower population regions, and these redder colors for more higher population colors.